5 people have been gunned down in Khayelitsha this morning, with the motive for the shooting still unclear. Newzroom Afrika's Athi Mtongana joins us live now from the township in Cape Town. Athi, good morning to you. This is yet one of those stories again that is cropping up in one of the townships in Cape Town. What sparked this particular round of people being murdered in this way?
A very good morning to you, Goli. Well, one of the biggest townships in the country. And you might recall, Goli, that recently when the Minister of Police, Khayelitsha, released crime statistics, it was revealed that murders generally in South Africa increased in the last 3 months at about 8.9%, close to 10% increase in murders in the country in the last 3 months. And also, it's interesting that you speak of how familiar then murders are in communities and townships like Khayelitsha. But interestingly, though, when I speak to some of the residents that are here, which I'm going to ask my colleague to show you, they're telling me that this particular informal settlement is not one that normally experiences shootings of this nature. They spoke to me and they said they've been up since the early morning hours just trying to understand the situation as a community. As common as shootings of this nature might be in townships, this particular community tells me that they haven't experienced something like this in a while. So right there where you see the yellow tape, Goli, is where we're told that a female body is there. We're told that the ages of the people that have been gunned down are between 20 to 28. A female body right now will be retrieved by pathology, as well as 4 other bodies, male deceased, will also form part of the investigation that the police will be doing. I do have the Provincial Commissioner, Patekile, who's going to talk to us about this latest incident and perhaps give us details as to whether or not at this stage. We know that the motive is still unclear, Commissioner, but what can you tell us about this case?
Thank you, Athi. This morning, just to 5 this morning, we received a first report that people were shot at. And there were 2 crime scenes that we found. The first scene was this one, where we found a woman who was partially naked in this house, and then the next scene is about 300 meters from here, on top of these areas, where we found 4 men also being shot. What we could see now is that one of those that was there is actually the boyfriend of the deceased here, and is also partially dressed, because we could find some of his stuff here while he's there. So we suspect that he was kidnapped from here to that area where he was shot and killed with the others. 4 of those now have already been identified. There's still one that has still not been identified by the families. But I know we can't release their names. That was just an identification to understand where they're coming from. The motive, we still do not know what is the motive, but we are activating our 72 activation plan to look into every lead that we are getting, because there are some leads that we're getting, but we want to follow each and every one to get to the bottom of it.
As I was talking to Goli, we mentioned how common shootings of this nature have become in townships, but as just speaking to the residents, they tell me that this particular community has not had an incident like this. Won't you perhaps talk to us about the recent murders around Khayelitsha and how the cops are trying to quell the situation, because it seems now that these murders are happening more frequently?
Khayelitsha has been very quiet for a while. Since you must understand, since we came here last year, there were many of these incidents, and then they died out. You will find 1 murder, 2 murders, and Khayelitsha used to have about 10 murders a week, but now you find it 3, 4 over the weekend. So it has been relatively quiet. And this area where we are, we have not had problems We had problems in Makaza, which is part of Harare too, and this is part of the Harare station too. So which we deployed 50 members there for Makaza and 10 vehicles. And that has paid dividend because the number of incidents that we're getting in that area has declined. So even Harare itself, it's for this week and the previous week that we found that there's been murders that are on the rise. But we're looking at the generators of those murders. It's mostly liquor related, and there may be also some other which are extortion related. We are not been able to get with that, but mostly we suspect liquor is more involved. But what is also worrying in this one is one of the women that has been shot dead, and that's actually very it's touching. You know.
As I let you go, Commissioner, you speak of leads that you have at this stage, and I was speaking to the residents, and they seem to be uneasy about the whole situation. Won't you perhaps give us a rough idea as to what these leads are, so as to ease those fears then that the residents have, because now they're worried about their own safety?
Now, at this stage, it's too early to tell you the leads, because we're questioning any person that we see who's got something. So it would take us, must remember, we move from unknown to almost known. So only until then that we will reserve to say, well, until we get to the point where we say now we've got suspects or we arrest suspects, that we will be able to say that. But what is important for the community is to assist us, to phone our toll-free number 0800-10-111 for information, but also was we're addressing some of the communities that we need to have the community on our side, to have, say, community patrollers, because it would appear that not everybody, they know each other, but some they know each other. They are community members, community leaders that we talk to. And last week already there was an awareness campaign in this area on Friday. And the police station commander promised to come back this week to form the community patrollers in that area, in this area.
With police visibility?
Yes, but as you know, as you can see, police visibility in this area when it's dark and there are no roads. We need more community members to be with us when we patrol in that area. Then that will assist us.
You need community members to be with the police to patrol for any event of a crime? Neighborhood
watches. The community patrollers, neighborhood watches, if we combine our effort together, then we are going to beat it, because we beat it in many other areas. Here, we also need that same partnership with the community patrollers. We are in Simos, there's no light here. There are no streets here. But the people who are staying here, they know the high keys and they know the hunger keys where we can move together during the night. Then that's the call that we're making. To come, just join each other, and then we patrol and make sure that this place is safe for children and women in particular. Thank you.
Commissioner, thank you so much. The Provincial Commissioner here in the Western Cape talking to us about this particular incident. Now, this is something that we've heard of so many times, the collaborative effort between members of the community, particularly neighborhood watchers and the police, in order to fight crime in areas like these. And I mean, even us trying to get to the scene was a bit difficult, given the fact that, as the Commissioner said, there are no roads or proper roads. The infrastructure, as you may know, in informal settlements is a challenge. There are also no lights in this particular community, so it also makes it difficult for policing to take place. But something very interesting that the Commissioner spoke about is the female body that's lying here, who he says is partially dressed, and he's also mentioned that this female body that's laying here could be could have been in a relationship with one of the 4 men who have passed away on the other side. And right before you then are possibly family members who've just received the news of the passing of their loved ones. Quite a traumatic experience, quite a very painful moment, to say the least, as they gather the strength to come and identify the body and try to get sense of the situation right now, as it has just happened. I'll leave it there, Xoli, for now. Back to you in studio.
Athi Mtongana, thank you very much. It's a very heartbreaking story, and the police still doing their investigations. The family members you see there, and the understanding is that they have to be brought to the scene in order to identify their loved one, and the person who is possibly going to be identified there is the woman, and you heard the police commissioner there saying that she may be connected to one of the 4 men or males that were also discovered not too far from the scene where Athi is right now. It's a terrible situation in Khayelitsha this morning.